issue is, and I use this as my pattern interrupt, something to slap me in the face and say, okay, cool, it's actually possible. I say it again, there is a version of you that is homeless. I'm going to be breaking down, number one, the mindset shifts that I had to have, the limiting beliefs that I had to break. There is a version of you that's a millionaire. I'm a pretty positive guy, but sometimes I was thinking, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it out the other side, like it was rough. There is nothing such as good or bad. And this is again down to the polarity, like you can't let life throw you around and be emotionally driven by it. It meant a lot to me because I finally felt like the juice was worth the squeeze. Like I had something to show. You don't achieve your goals, obviously you achieve your standards. Again, I say, you're not chasing the Rolex, you're not trying to buy the Rolex, you're trying to buy the feeling it gives you. If you pedestalize your goal too much, you're never going to get it. Genuinely one of the saddest things I've seen. And this is when I entered what I call fulfillment fallacy, and I believe a lot of people experience this, especially if you run an actual business, right? And the reason is, you have to ask yourself the question, who keeps you accountable? This room is hardworking, you wouldn't be here otherwise. And if we're being honest, the cleaner's hardworking. The bartender's hardworking. The guy who works at McDonald's is hardworking. Most people are really hardworking. And skill-wise, everyone here, from what you've said so far, you're competent. You're not a retard, I'll be honest with you. You guys aren't idiots, right? You're smart guys. So you often have ceiling problems, an invisible ceiling where you're working so hard, but you're like, why can I not just break past this? And as I said, the reason why I say this is because I was stuck at this particular ceiling. And what I'm actually gonna do for you is break down my personal story, so you can actually resonate with me and understand where I came from. I grew up in Barking, East London. This is the trenches. I'll be honest with you, it's the trenches. You've got police over there. This station, you don't want to walk out of here. You might get robbed, you know, it's not the best situation. And it was a council flat, me, my brother, my younger sister, in 1 or 2 rooms. Cats would poo outside of our door. It just wasn't nice. It wasn't nice whatsoever. But I knew I always wanted more. And I didn't just want more for myself, because I'll be honest with you guys, everyone wants the flashy things. You might want a nice watch or a car, or you might want to take your girlfriend out on holiday, but you want the deeper things as well. You might want to retire your parents one day. You might want to do something for your future family. And it could be that. I don't know what your reason why is, but everyone has a deeper reason why. I know Ubaid, right? Ubaid's a closer, killing it right now, and you went to Mecca. And for you, that's super important because not many people get the opportunity to do that. So everyone has a deeper reason why, as to why they are grinding so hard every day on a consistent basis. I ended up going to a pretty good school, pushed to a grammar school, and I was traveling like 90 minutes every single day on the train. And then I remember I was 14 years old. This is when we started making some money. Of course, some people have sold sweets in school. If you've sold sweets in school, can you put your hand up? I love to see it, I love to see it, I love to see it, right? And then I remember I was selling magazines on the streets of London. You can see me here, I'm not lying. You can see me right there selling magazines on the streets of London. And the beautiful thing is, this is when I learned sales. This is when you're going up to people, selling something they frankly don't want to buy, and they're rejecting you. Fuck off, piss off, I'm going to work, I'm late, yet you would still make money. So I knew I had something, right? And this really built the resilience for me and the mental fortitude to deal with rejection. Rejected, 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 rejected again and again and again, right? Then I started reselling. And so I was reselling PlayStations, trainers, watches, anything I could get my hands on, I was selling. And the beautiful thing is, I actually thought I was the guy, first and foremost. I genuinely thought this was gonna make me millions of dollars. But the actual beautiful thing is, this is how I met Peter, my best friend and co-founder of my second business, God Made Sales, where we help corporate 9-to-5ers get into sales and scale up. And genuinely, his story is incredible. You guys need to, I can't wait for his speech, honestly. When I was in sixth form, I thought I'd crack the code, and I went to university. I went to Lancaster University, studied computer science, and if I'm being deadly honest, up north, nothing's there. There's nothing there. Nothing's going on. There's nothing to resell, nothing to sell, there's nothing to do. And I was really at this position where I was actually working a sales job, right? No reselling opportunities, had to get just a bog standard sales job. And this is when I actually discovered my current business model. And I remember, I used to keep seeing people online, content creators, coaches, pushing content, but not a lot of them knew how to actually monetize it and turn it into a business. And that's how I then stumbled across my first client. He's a fitness guy, right? Alex Cowling has around 150,000 followers on Instagram, and he was just doing calisthenics content. I remember we struck up our first deal, and I took him from zero, making nothing online, to $40,000 in a single month, helping corporate guys get in shape. And from that point, I knew, okay, cool, I have something here. I can do something here. From this point, I went into various different niches. So I helped traders. I have a really solid trading client that Adam and Ubaid actually close on right now. I have an Airbnb client that my brother closes on. I have a financial advisor who's doing really, really well. And long story short, anyone can sell anything online in terms of education. And since then, everything opened up. March 2024, I hit my first 10K month and I thought I made it again. I thought, okay, this is the cheat code. And what did I do? This was first and foremost my first video saying, oh, I've made 10K a month, etc., like everyone does online. And it feels massive, but I'll be honest with you, this is when you realize you've just stepped into the business game. 10K a month, someone, especially like, he's exited businesses, he's thinking, yeah, that's a joke. You know, it's nothing special, right? And so I did what most people do next. I went traveling. I went to Bali, I went to Bangkok, I lived the online entrepreneur lifestyle. And when I came back from traveling, the only reason I came back, by the way, is because my brother was graduating from university for his accounting and finance degree in Durham University, literally there. I remember walking around the graduation and it was genuinely one of the saddest things I've seen. One person's happy, oh, I got a 35K a year job. I got 40 grand a year job. Oh, I got 50 grand a year job. And it's from someone who has just made 10K in a month, you're like, this can't be it. I'm in my second year of university at this point, and I was stuck at an inflection point. What do I do? Do I finish that last year of university, make my parents proud, make them happy, make everyone, you know, follow the status quo? Or do I drop out? Do I go all in? That was it. And I remember after going to that graduation, I didn't want anything to do with the university institution. So I dropped out. And after you drop out, of course, you have the fear, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? But you also have the thing like, oh, I'm the guy, you know, I've just taken a massive risk. But it didn't work out how I wanted it to, because my mum, she did not expect me to drop out at all, whatsoever, right? I've now had to come back home and she's like, okay, cool, you're gonna have to sleep on the sofa. So imagine this, you're making 10 grand a month, you're sleeping on your mum's sofa, you feel like a nuisance around the house, and you're also trying to break past this income ceiling. It was just a massive headache, you know? And this is when I entered what I call fulfillment fallacy, and I believe a lot of people experience this, especially if you run an actual business. You scale, you grow, you sign new clients. You sign these new clients and you're super happy. You're like, new cash in the door, you're doing great things, it's amazing. But the issue is, you did not build the correct systems to fulfill these clients. And off the back of that, you then get stuck in this rut. You're fulfilling for these clients now and you can't do any more acquisition, and then the business never grows and you get stuck at this income ceiling, right? And so I got trapped in this fallacy, and for 6 to 8 months straight, I was in the same desk, sitting at my desk, same co-working space, every single day grinding, working hard for my clients, basically slaving away because I couldn't delegate properly, I couldn't hire, I couldn't systemize. I was stuck. And then I learned something very, very critical. There are no business problems, only personal problems. Only problems with my identity. Was I operating from the person who makes 100 grand a month? Absolutely not. Was I using leverage? Because leverage is the key thing in business. If we're being deadly honest, you can't be a one-man band. You can't. Rome was not built in a day, and it was not built by one individual. You have to be willing and able to hire A players. Imran's recording me right now. I can't record myself. So you need multiple people in your organization. And I was not willing to delegate the correct way. And I had massive limiting beliefs, but when I broke those limiting beliefs and also implemented the correct things, pulled the right levers, in August 2025, in the space of 2 months, I go from 10, 20, 30 grand months to that 86K cash collected month. Everything's clicked. This not only allowed me to move into my dream apartment, which I now live with my brother, Peter, and Terry. This allowed me to buy my first watch, and I don't know what you're gonna say about this. Maybe this is a bad decision, right? Maybe it's a bad decision, right? It allowed me to also support my parents more consistently and actually have a full circle moment where they came to visit me on Christmas Day, and they spent the Christmas with me. My parents, my nieces, my auntie, and genuinely when they came to me and they said to me, I'll be honest with you, I'm actually proud of you. It meant a lot to me because I finally felt like the juice was worth the squeeze. Like I had something to show for everything that I was going through over the last 2 years of business. And now, as I said in this January, we've hit $110,000 cash collected month, and we want to go further because realistically, every single day when I meet high-level entrepreneurs, I'm understanding, firstly, they don't think in months, they think in years, right? They're thinking way beyond the scope that most people online are thinking. And we're not trying to slow down, we want to keep playing a big game. So, today, I'm going to be breaking down, number one, the mindset shifts that I had to have, the limiting beliefs that I had to break. But then I'm also going to be breaking down the tangible things I implemented into my business that allowed me to break past these income ceilings. Now, the first limiting belief, and it's something we need to install. Who's watched Infinity War? Anyone? Hands up. Crazy thing is I haven't even watched the movie, right? But of course everyone knows Doctor Strange, and everyone knows the moment where he analyzes all the different realities and he finds one reality where they can win. But what he showed by doing this is that we live in a world of infinite realities. And I really want you guys to understand this one because this one is super important. We live in a world of infinite realities. There is a version of you that is homeless, and there is a version of you that's a millionaire. I say it again, there is a version of you that is homeless, and there is a version of you that's a millionaire. Absolutely everything works, right? There's a version of you that's killing it in an agency, maybe running an e-com business, maybe doing crypto. It doesn't matter. You can actually garner this success that you want to achieve. And I want to ask everyone just a goal here. Let's say in the next 3 months, Terry, how much do you want to make? Cool. Firstly, I feel like everyone should think way bigger. Just think bigger, be a bit more audacious. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, it's actually possible. Like I genuinely believe the fact that everyone is here in the first place trying to just better yourself. God loves a trier. It's actually possible, right? And so that's the first thing you need to actually install into your mind because most people are chasing something, but internally they don't really think that it's actually possible. But it is. All of these realities exist and we live in a very abundant world. I genuinely know teenagers, like 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds making 100 grand a month, 200 grand a month. One of my friends, he makes $500,000 a month and he's 19 or he's 20. This guy's always in Miami, he's from Italy, like he's killing it, and he runs a med spa agency. Nothing special, it wasn't a new business he created. He didn't create a random cryptocurrency or an AI agency. He's running a med spa agency and he's making $500,000. It has to be possible. One person did it, we can all do it. I truly believe this. Again, the man who says I can and the man who says I can't are both correct. It's about your personal conviction in yourself. It has nothing to do with the economy, this business model, that business model, the industry, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your sister. That has nothing to do with them. It's about you and your internal conviction, right? Now, for the month of February, we all just set our goals. Can everyone genuinely bring out their phone, make a note page, pin it on the notes, write the audacious goal for the month of February? Be a bit more risky, push it. And then after this, put 5 things. If you do these 5 things, the percentage chance of you achieving these goals is so high. Like you're practically guaranteed to achieve these goals if you write these things down and actually do them. And then hopefully you have another event and we can see in a month if we achieve them, So everyone take a couple minutes, write that down and then we'll get this cracking. Now, as I said, reverse engineer it. We go on to the next belief. Pattern interrupt. I personally believe these are super important in terms of getting to your goals. And this obviously has to do with the environment that you are in, right? And I'll never forget, I was genuinely sitting in my room, grinding nonstop. And I thought, I'm definitely gonna make it because I'm gonna just sit at my desk, grind, not speak to anyone, just work on the business. Not go out for dinner, not go to speak to a friend, not have a random call, not go on holiday, don't do anything. It came to the time, I believe this was March 2025, right? I was still stuck at these months, and me, Peter, David, 2 of my clients, we were planning a trip to Dubai. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was looking at the bank account, I was looking at the business, I was looking at how everything was going, and I was like, I should not be going on this trip. I've never been to Dubai before, and I was like, I shouldn't be going on this trip. But I did it anyways. But the reason why I did it wasn't because of a stupid financial decision. I said, do I operate from the person who's making this amount, or do I operate from the version of Isaac that's making 100 grand a month? And I use this as my pattern interrupt, something to slap me in the face and say, okay, cool, this is actually possible. And what happened when I went to Dubai? Instant discomfort. If you've ever been to Dubai, you'll see there's a G-Wagon flying around every 2 seconds. People have Rich and Millie. I think Peter played paddle with a guy who had a Rich and Millie on. It's a joke. And abundance is so in your face to the degree where you're like, okay, cool. If all of these guys have it, sure, like, I'm not stupid. Surely I can achieve it, right? And the second I came back from that trip, I was supercharged up to the degree where I knew, okay, cool, now I have to make it work. And within 3 months after that, I made it work, right? You don't achieve your goals, obviously you achieve your standards. And being in an environment where, and this, by the way, doesn't mean you have to go to Dubai. It could be looking at your friends list and curating that friends list and going, I'll be honest with you, this person, this person, this person, this person, they gotta go because they're just holding me back. But this person I need to spend more time with. It could be going to a more expensive gym because naturally you're gonna network with higher level people. It could be coming to an event like this because naturally you might meet one person who might just change your life. It doesn't matter where it is, but you need to look for the pattern interrupt and force the change, essentially. Belief number 2, emotional conviction. Now I want you guys to understand one thing super clearly, right? Emotion is the language of the universe. And the reason why I say this is because we all work super hard. David, tell me like one thing you want to buy in the next 2 to 3 months. Cool, what one in particular?
Rhodium Datejust.
Okay, cool. So you want to buy a Rhodium Datejust. Why do you want to buy it? Okay, cool. And obviously that's the logical reason. But the crazy thing is, you're not chasing the Rolex and you're not trying to buy the Rolex. You're trying to buy the feeling the Rolex gives you. Again, I say, you're not chasing the Rolex, you're not trying to buy the Rolex, you're trying to buy the feeling it gives you. Realistically, you walk with a Rolex on, you feel a certain way. You feel like you're the guy. Because people can see it. Same way, guys, if you're in shape and who here has had like a physical transformation, like they were fat or they were skinny? So Peter, you were skinny before. Were you fat? You were skinny? Like, you were fat and now you're here, right? Anyone else or was everyone else? You guys are jacked. You guys are just jacked from birth or just
Always been in the gym, man.
always been in the, I respect it, right? But the point is, if you've had a physical transformation, you walk different. You feel different, right? You're like, I'm the guy because you internally know what you did to get there. It's the feeling you're looking for. The physique is cool, but it's the feeling of like, okay, cool, I'm the guy. And I walk around in a different way. That being said, if you're working for these feelings, what do we actually need to do to break past this income ceiling or break past this level that we're at? We need to feel the feeling first. You need to feel the way you would feel if you're making 100 grand a month now. You can't wait till you make 100 grand a month and then feel it. The question is, how do we do this? And this is something that was taught from one of my mentors, and he's an absolute murderer, like he killing it. I want you guys to think about someone close to you. And I'm going to explain a direct example so you can really get it. When I was really meditating over my goals and trying to get to where I wanted to get to, there was someone who I knew, if this person was to tell me, oh, okay, cool, bro, I'm really proud of you, you did it, that would make me feel a certain way, and it was my brother. It's not like he doesn't tell me he's proud of me, but the point is, I imagine a moment where he, after me hitting the 100K a month, bro, I'm so proud of you. He gives me a hug. And all I did when I was in the sauna, when I was meditating, when I was thinking about things, all I did was think about that moment. And the crazy thing, that moment occurred. He doesn't probably even realize the moment occurred, but the moment occurred. So now another action point, because let's make this actionable, guys. If you hit your goal, 50K a month, 20K a month, 100 grand a month, who is it that you would be like, your mom, she's gonna say, I'm so proud of you. Or it could be your girlfriend, it could be your best friend. What would that experience look like? Write down the experience. And from now onwards, I want you to meditate upon that. That's what I want you to think about. Don't think, cool, the Rolex is cool, or the house is cool, or the money is cool, or whatever, but what is that emotional experience? Does anyone have anything they feel like would occur if they hit their goal? Whether it's their mum, their dad, Peter.
Yeah, I have a specific feeling that I like similarly do to you in terms of meditating, where it's like, my mum works a job that she doesn't really want to do. So like, if I could get to the point where she really likes like the country of Croatia, just being on the beach, like running into the water and me seeing that is something I think.
And that's perfect to a T. Because number one, it's someone close to you, it's super emotional, and you're feeling the feeling of being great already. Zach, do you have anything? Someone you feel like, okay, it's your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister. Maybe it's just you're gonna go and you're gonna walk on a balcony and be like, oh my gosh, I made it. You just want to make yourself proud. No, that's beautiful. I respect that. And so that's the thing you want to think about. What's that emotional feeling going to feel like when you actually get to where you want to get to, right? Now, as I said, that was it for me. It was my brother. And we're now going to go into belief number 3. Let go and let God. And at this point, I don't really care if you're religious or not, but I really want you guys to understand this. David, can you stand up for me, please? We're going to just do a quick demonstration. Open up your hand, and all I want you to do is catch this, right? Cool. Now close your hand and try to catch it. You can't catch it, right? The reason why I did that demonstration is you cannot receive from a closed hand. What do I actually mean by this? Guys, look, you're all hard workers. You're going to work regardless. You're all scheming if you're reading your books, you're watching the courses, you're getting a mentor, you're going to have this. But you need to let go. And what I mean by let go is you're probably micromanaging things. I'll be honest with you. You're probably doing menial tasks. You're trying to control the entire ship. And I was doing this. Genuinely, I was trying to do absolutely everything. I would write the ads, I would film, I would do this, I'll edit them, then I'll send it to the client, and I'll do this, so it's XYZ. But because I was trying to micromanage and control absolutely everything, I couldn't ascend to that next level. I didn't trust anyone else. It's only when I said, you know what, I'm going to position an A player in this particular department. I'm going to hire a killer closer for this particular client. I'm going to get editors to do this thing. I'm going to build a system that doesn't require me, and even though it seems weird, I'm not going to be the one holding onto it. You need to think in your mind, the richer you get, the more you rest. It's not about hard work. If it was hard work, everyone would be rich. The richer you get, the more you rest. How can you look at the skill sets you have, double down on those skill sets, and everything that you're not good at, let go? There's some people who are killers at sales. They're killers, right? If you're a killer at sales, you focus on sales and you let go of everything else in your organization. Or let's say, for example, if you're a closer and you know this is your specific skill set, maybe it's the tonality, maybe it's the discovery, the pre-handling of objections, maybe it's the temp check, maybe it's just the follow-up game. It doesn't matter, but you double down on those skills and you let go of the things that are useless. Look at your actual day and see what you're doing that's completely useless, right? Belief 4, you need to be good with or without. Now you guys understand this, right? Let's say I saw a girl on the street and I said to her, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, I love you so much, like I want to be, she'd be repulsed by me. No matter how good looking I am, she's just gonna be like, that's disgusting, I don't know you, right? Same way if you saw a cat on the street and you ran towards it, a cat's gonna run away. Think about the same thing with your goals. If you pedestalize your goal too much, it's going to be too far from you, you're never going to get it. If you hold it in too much regard, you're never going to get it. Guys, when you breathe air, do you think, oh, thank you, Lord, I appreciate it so much. You don't do that because air is abundant and air is normal to you. So your goal needs to be your standard. It needs to be completely normal to you. You just need to know, I'm doing the things I need to do and I'm going to achieve it, absolutely, and have no sense of doubt in your mind that you're not going to achieve it, right? You need to be good with or without. And I think this is super impactful for sales reps, super impactful. Because the issue is, this is what people do. People judge themselves off their last win or loss. That doesn't make any sense. Cristiano Ronaldo loses a final. Does he now say, I'm not Cristiano Ronaldo? Absolutely not. He's got the legacy. He knows who he is. So why would you then, knowing internally who you are and what you want to achieve, you don't close a sales call and you're beating yourself up? That makes no sense. You need to judge yourself based on the standard you want to set for yourself and the level you want to be at. So you don't close a call. Okay, cool. Logically analyze why you didn't close the call, but no, I'm absolutely going to smash the next one. And you go into the next one with that level of conviction. But you cannot judge yourself based on your last win, your last loss, because then life's going to just throw you around like the wind. The second you lose something, oh my gosh. The second you win something, oh my, I'm so happy. Whenever someone asks me how I'm doing, I'm saying I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm great, I'm excellent, I'm doing amazing, because it doesn't matter what's going on my day-to-day basis, I'm winning regardless, right? Be good if it doesn't happen, be good if it happens. Have a severe neutrality. And this kind of ties into belief 5, which is the final belief. Nothing is good or bad. Now I'm going to break this down based on the Chinese farmer story. I'm sure you guys have heard this story. There's a Chinese farmer. He has his son, and they have a horse. The horse runs away. Everyone in the village goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your horse. Your horse ran away. I'm so sorry." And he's like, "No worries. We'll see tomorrow." The next day, the horse that ran away came back with 500 horses. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. Wow, well done. You got 500 horses." He's like, "I don't know. We'll see tomorrow." The next day, the son rides one of the horses, falls and breaks his leg. "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry. Oh no, sorry, what happened?" "We'll see tomorrow." The next day, the army comes and says, "Everyone who's fit and well-bodied needs to go to the war." The son's broken his leg. He survives the war. "Oh my gosh, your son is so lucky." The point is, nothing is good or bad. There needs to be light and there needs to be dark. If it's too light, you literally can't see. If it's too dark, you also can't see. If something's too hot, you're gonna burn. If something's too cold, you're gonna freeze to death. There is nothing such as good or bad. And this is again down to the polarity. Like, you can't let life throw you around and be emotionally driven by, "I didn't close that call and I'm happy," or "I didn't close that call and I'm sad, and I'm this and I'm that." You have to have serene confidence. This is probably one of the most important things. Serene confidence, because you're not having confidence in, oh, you closing the call. You're having confidence in yourself. And your identity is a winning identity. So that's what you need to remember, right? Always remember, the job is already done. I'm just an actor in God's film. The job is already done. I'm just playing a part, right? Now, I'm now going to go into actual business levers that I pulled to break past the income ceilings. And I really want to make these as tangible and actionable for you guys as possible. At any point in time, if you guys have any questions, please interrupt me. And I beg of you, right? So, the first thing is this. Get out of your own way. And the good thing is I've broken this down to a good degree. We know that hard work is a prerequisite to garnering any sort of success, right? And when I've spoken about the fulfillment fallacy, you're going to go in that loop, and if you don't break out of it, you're in a bad situation. The question is, how do you actually, physically, tangibly build leverage? These are the 3 things I did to build leverage in my business. First, and I think everyone forgets about this, systemize yourself, right? Your business really can't grow beyond your own self-development. So if you're not willing to operate like, to a degree, a machine, and systemize yourself and do the most high leverage tasks, you're going to fail. So the question is, how do you systemize yourself? I'll be honest, I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with health. I'll be honest, I think this for me is one of the most important things. And I meet so many high-level entrepreneurs that are older. I'll be in the sauna with them and they'll be talking about their journey and be like, I just wish I didn't drink, or I wish I didn't do drugs, or I wish I just took my health more seriously. Firstly, why would you want money and not have a great physique or look good? You want to be fat by driving a Porsche? That doesn't make sense, number 1. But number 2, I truly believe you operate at a higher level when you're in shape. For me, it's paramount. So that's the first thing, optimizing your health. And you can do this in many ways. For example, a lot of me and my friends have a health coach, and he dials us in and keeps us super on top of everything. It doesn't matter, you can do it yourself. It really doesn't matter, but the point is dial in your health. Investing in a high quality, expensive gym for me is like a prerequisite to getting in shape, you know? Then I got an executive assistant. For me, I think this is super important, right? And the reason is you have to ask yourself the question, and by the way, you can do this even if you're a rep or you are a CEO or founder of a company, who keeps you accountable? Who keeps the CEO accountable? There really isn't anyone. Maybe if you're a sales rep, you might have a sales manager, but to a degree, they're human beings, so they're gonna slip up and miss things and make mistakes, and who keeps you accountable, right? You need someone to dial in your structure of your day, keep you accountable, be your second brain, be almost like I don't know what the word is where you bounce ideas off of someone, but the point is like you can bounce ideas off of them and actually verify if your ideas make any sense. And then on top of that, they are extrapolating to your clients. They can be the one who talks to the clients on behalf of you. You can extract yourself from low-level tasks. They're in an EA, even a VA, they can be like $500 a month, but they will save you so much time and they will genuinely change your life, all right? The second thing is building a real team. I said to you guys, Rome was not built by one person. And the second I decided to hire A players, killers, They're going to be more expensive for sure. But the fact of the matter is they changed my life because now the business has nothing to do with me. It's not just me. If I get sick or if I'm not on my A game, the business still runs because most of the time, especially in the early doors of business, you're running a high paying job. You're just running a high paying job. You're slaving away. The second you go abroad, your clients are pissed off, nothing's going on, the communication isn't there. You're just in a bad situation, right? And you need to hire like actual A players. You can't be thinking about, okay, this person's going to be too expensive. You're going to be thinking, what leverage does this person provide me? What more money am I going to make from hiring this person? For example, my COO, Blaz, I hired him and genuinely everything changed in my business, right? This guy has 8 years in the game in terms of Facebook media buying. He spent over $5 million in Facebook ad spend. He's a murderer. And he actually came to visit me last week from Slovenia with him and his partner. And it was the most beautiful thing in the world, meeting him for the first time in person. But the premise is, he genuinely changed my life. I know I changed his life as well, for sure. But the point is, the clients speak to him now. He's handling the operations. I'm with you guys. We're having a great conversation, and he's handling business. I don't need to rely on myself. You don't want to be a bottleneck of your own business. I think this is super important. And third, of course, systemize with software and AI. And for me, my opinion in AI is this. I don't think AI right now is at the point where it can completely take over your entire business. For example, there's always going to be sales reps. That's my personal opinion. If you buy a car, you're ever going to buy a car from AI? You're not. If you buy a house, are you going to buy a house from AI? You're not. So there's certain aspects of business that are never going to be systemized via AI. And at this particular point in time, most things you can't just say, I have 10 AI tools. Like there's a guy called Jordan Lee, I'm so sure you guys know him, but like he runs an AI agency and he's like, oh, all I need is 20 AI tools and they do the entire business, but it doesn't really work like that. But one thing I will say is this, you mastering ChatGPT and not, or like ChatGPT or Claude, whichever one you use, but not just using it, but knowing how to prompt engineer the correct way. Like when I was studying computer science, that's literally one thing out of all the things. I didn't remember anything. I do remember how they taught us how to prompt engineer. That was one thing I learned, right? So actually inputting the correct things into GPT to get the correct outputs in the first place, right? Now, lever 2, and I think this is super important. Never turn acquisition off. Again, I spoke about the fulfillment fallacy and I spoke about the fact that you get into the weeds of fulfillment and then you decide and say, I can't take on any more clients. But I spoke to one of my friends. He runs a business similar to mine, but his is called Back-End Profits. He helps people make money on the back end via upsells and client LTV. And he makes 400 grand a month. He's killing it, right? And he told me it's a skill issue if you can't have acquisition and fulfillment at the same time. You should always have it on. And the reason why you should always have it on, for example, for me, I met my best client to date, right? And the crazy thing is these numbers are late. Like this was posted in December, but he's now done over $1 million cash collected in the space of 6 months. And the only reason I met him is because I kept acquisition on. I kept doing cold outreach. I remember I paid him for a consultation call to just tell him you could be making exponentially more money. And he's a financial advisor, by the way, FCA regulated financial advisor. And I told him you could sell B2C financial advice to just everyday people, dialing their debt and their investing and savings and whatnot. He was making $2K a month with that offer. And we did a $200,000 month. If I had not had acquisition on, I would never have met him. And every single day he tells me, as you changed my life, as you changed my life. So yes, I know fulfillment is difficult. It gets rough, like you're just in the trenches and whatnot. But don't stop acquisition, whether it's content, like I've recently embarked back on posting content heavily, whether it's cold outreach, whether it's cold email, whether it's running ads, it doesn't matter, but don't stop acquisition. You know, you have to learn the marketing, the sales, the back end, the systems, API, emails, and then specialize on something. I'll give our example. Initially, I was doing absolutely everything. There was a time for my first ever client, I was taking the sales calls, right? And that's how I learned the art of high ticket sales. And we were closing corporate men on $10,000 packages, getting them in shape. And I was just closing everyone. Of course, you learn the entire skill set, but then you have to specialize in your one thing. Let's say you're a sales guy and you go from sales closer to sales management and sales management to sales agency. When you're running the sales agency, cool, that's fine, and you're doing sales, but you could say, okay, cool, our particular mechanism is our tracking dashboards. Our particular mechanism is the elite level of our closer hiring. Our particular mechanism is XYZ, but it doesn't matter, but you have to have your mechanism, because when you market, that's your unique mechanism, essentially, right? For us, we specialized in webinars. So we started selling one-to-many for clients, and this allowed us to scale super quickly just because there's much higher trust when selling via webinar, via the law of reciprocity. Someone comes on a webinar, they speak to you for 1 to 2 hours, and then they buy from you. You know, it killed it. And honestly, with every single one of our clients now, we run webinars. So, guys, that is it. That is it in terms of what I learned, breaking past these income ceilings, these limiting beliefs, and it was a laborious journey. It was rough, like genuinely. I'm a pretty positive guy, but there was sometimes I was thinking, yeah, like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out the other side. Like, it was rough. I will just say, having a good set of friends around you is paramount. Like, my brother helped me so many times. Peter helped me so many times. Terry helped me so many times. Adam and Yabaid, these guys, they kill it for one of my clients, right? And they're just great individuals. I have so many good friends around me, and this is why I want to say the power of network is undeniable. The fact that, for example, in a networking group, you can go, oh, I'm moving to Dubai. Who has a connect? Someone gives you a connect, boom, boom, boom. That's amazing. So I feel like you should curate your friendship groups almost ruthlessly. And I know it's going to be tough when, for example, you have friends from back home. I pretty much lost all my friends from school. Like, none of them really speak to me anymore. And it's not because I cut them off per se, it's just because there was nothing to talk about. You're ascending to a new level and they're just not on the same train. And that's okay. But you're going to, like, I can 100% guarantee you're going to find that new friendship group where they're killers in your own regard and they're doing this. And right now in our house, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Someone's closing a deal, someone's having a business meeting, someone's having this, someone's hitting the gym. Our network is super important. So yeah, I want to say, Ollie, thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And yeah, bro.